The Dardanians, known for their strategic acumen, relied heavily on their fortresses to secure their territories and maintain their independence. These fortifications were not only defensive structures, but also centers of governance and economic activity. Smash that subscribe button like it's a piñata filled with great content. Located atop hills or mountains, these fortresses provided a commanding view of the surrounding areas, allowing the Dardanians to monitor and control key routes and trade paths. The strategic placement of these fortresses reflected a deep understanding of the terrain. The Dardanians leveraged the rugged landscape of their homeland, building fortresses at choke points to thwart potential invasions. These strongholds were often surrounded by natural barriers, such as rivers, cliffs, or dense forests, enhancing their defensive capabilities. The combination of natural and man-made defenses made Dardanian fortresses nearly impenetrable. Within these fortresses, Dardanian society flourished. The fortified centers served as hubs of administration, where tribal leaders made decisions and managed alliances. The fortresses also hosted markets, where goods from local and foreign traders were exchanged, fostering economic prosperity. These strongholds thus played a dual role, ensuring security and acting as focal points for social and economic life. The fortresses also held symbolic significance. They represented the strength and unity of the Dardanian people, standing as monuments to their resilience and determination. The construction and maintenance of these structures required collective effort, reinforcing the bonds between tribes and contributing to a shared sense of identity. This unity was crucial in resisting external threats and preserving Dardanian independence. The architecture of Dardanian fortresses was both functional and innovative, reflecting their practical mindset and adaptability. Built with locally available materials such as stone, timber, and clay, these structures showcased the ingenuity of Dardanian builders. You made it this far, subscribe, it takes 1 second. The fortresses often featured thick walls, towers, and gates designed to withstand prolonged sieges. The layout of Dardanian fortresses varied depending on their location and purpose. Hilltop fortresses, for instance, were designed with concentric walls to maximize defense. The outer walls provided the first line of resistance, while the inner walls offered a second layer of protection. Inside the fortresses, well-planned spaces included living quarters, storage facilities, and communal areas, ensuring the self-sufficiency of their inhabitants. Water management was another remarkable aspect of Dardanian architecture. Many fortresses had cisterns and aqueducts to secure a reliable water supply during sieges. These systems demonstrated advanced engineering skills, as they were often constructed in challenging terrains. The ability to sustain life within the walls of a fortress for extended periods was a testament to the foresight and planning of Dardanian architects. The use of watchtowers and signal systems further enhanced the effectiveness of Dardanian fortresses. Positioned strategically, these towers allowed for long-distance communication through smoke signals, fires, or reflective surfaces. This network enabled the rapid transmission of information, giving the Dardanians a critical advantage in both defense and coordination during conflicts. Among the many fortresses constructed by the Dardanians, some stood out as exemplars of their architectural and strategic brilliance. One of the most significant was Dardanian, a city fortress famous for its silver mines. While its exact location remains debated, Dardanian was a vital economic hub and a stronghold that provided the Dardanians with immense wealth and bargaining power in their interactions with neighboring states. Another notable fortress was the one located in Naissus, modern-day Nice, Serbia. This fortress served as a gateway to the Central Balkans and was a critical point for controlling trade and military movements. Naissus was strategically positioned at the crossroads of major routes, allowing the Dardanians to monitor and regulate access to their territories. The fortress was heavily fortified and played a key role in deterring invasions from neighboring tribes and empires. The fortress of Ulpiana, near modern-day Kosovo, was another critical Dardanian stronghold. Known for its urban sophistication, Ulpiana was a cultural and administrative center. It was heavily fortified with walls and towers, providing both security and a symbol of the region's significance. The city's wealth and importance persisted even under Roman rule, reflecting the strategic choices of its original Dardanian founders. These fortresses were more than mere military installations. They were symbols of resilience and ingenuity. Each stronghold was a reflection of Dardanian priorities: defense, prosperity, and community. Their enduring legacies, often unearthed by archaeologists, continue to shed light on the advanced organizational and architectural skills of the Dardanian people. Dardanian fortresses were integral to their military strategy, providing both offensive and defensive advantages. During times of invasion, these strongholds served as refuge for the local population, allowing them to regroup and resist enemy advances. The elevated positions and formidable defenses of the fortresses often forced invaders into prolonged sieges, wearing down their resources and morale. In offensive campaigns, Dardanian warriors used their fortresses as staging grounds. Troops could be assembled and equipped within the safety of the walls before launching attacks on enemy territories. The fortresses also housed vast stores of food, weapons, and other supplies, ensuring that the Dardanian forces were well prepared for extended campaigns. The psychological impact of Dardanian fortresses on their enemies cannot be understated. Their imposing structures served as a reminder of the Dardanian strength and resolve, often deterring potential attackers. Even when invaders managed to breach the outer defenses, the multi-layered construction of the fortresses allowed the defenders to regroup and continue their resistance. One of the most significant episodes demonstrating the military importance of Dardanian fortresses was their resistance against Macedonian and later Roman incursions. These strongholds delayed the advance of these powerful empires, forcing them to invest significant resources and time into conquering Dardanian territory. The fortress's resilience highlighted the strategic brilliance and unity of the Dardanians. Life within a Dardanian fortress was a blend of routine activity and readiness for conflict. These strongholds were bustling centers where various aspects of Dardanian society converged. From farmers and artisans to warriors and leaders, the fortress population worked together to ensure its sustainability and functionality. The daily lives of residents revolved around maintaining the fortress and preparing for potential sieges. Artisans crafted tools, weapons, and household items, while farmers tended to livestock and cultivated crops in nearby fields. During periods of peace, the fortress thrived as a self-contained community, with markets, communal gatherings, and religious ceremonies contributing to a vibrant social life. Dardanian fortresses were not just military installations, they were thriving economic hubs. Positioned strategically along trade routes, these strongholds facilitated the exchange of goods, both within the Dardanian territories and with neighboring civilizations. Traders from Greece, Thrace, and Illyria often passed through these fortresses, exchanging luxury goods like wine, olive oil, and fine pottery, both in the Dardanian territories and elsewhere. The wealth generated through trade contributed significantly to the prosperity of the Dardanian fortresses. Markets within the fortress walls were vibrant, bustling with activity as traders and artisans showcased their wares. Dardanians were particularly skilled in metalworking, producing tools, weapons, and ornaments that were highly sought after by their trading partners. This economic activity not only enriched the local population, but also strengthened the fortress's defenses by funding construction and military preparedness. Silver and gold mining were especially prominent in certain Dardanian regions, such as those near Damastion. These precious metals became vital trade commodities, enabling the Dardanians to acquire goods and technologies from more advanced civilizations. The wealth accumulated from mining and trade further enhanced the fortress's role as centers of power and influence in the Balkans. The integration of Dardanian fortresses into wider trade networks also had cultural implications. Exposure to foreign goods and ideas enriched Dardanian society, introducing them to new technologies, art forms, and practices. However, the wealth and strategic importance of these fortresses also made them targets for powerful neighbors, including the Macedonians and Romans, who sought to control these lucrative trade hubs. Dardanian fortresses were not just centers of economic and military activity, they were also deeply intertwined with the spiritual and cultural life of the people. Religious practices played a crucial role within these fortifications, with temples and sacred sites dedicated to various deities prominently featured. These places of worship provided solace to the residents and reinforced their cultural identity. Dardanian spirituality was closely connected to nature, with many rituals and ceremonies centered around the cycles of the seasons and the elements. Fortresses often housed shrines to earth and sky deities, reflecting the Dardanians' reverence for the natural world. Priests and priestesses conducted rituals to ensure the community's prosperity and protection, particularly during times of conflict or hardship. Art and craftsmanship flourished within the fortress walls, with local artisans producing intricate pottery, jewelry, and carvings. These artifacts often depicted scenes from Dardanian mythology or daily life, providing valuable insights into their beliefs and customs. Music and dance were also integral to their culture, with performances often held during religious festivals or communal gatherings. The cultural significance of Dardanian fortresses extended beyond their walls. These strongholds became symbols of Dardanian unity and resilience, representing the strength and heritage of the people. Even as the Dardanians faced challenges from powerful empires, their fortresses stood as enduring testaments to their identity and way of life. The fall of Dardanian fortresses marked the decline of their independence and the eventual absorption of their territories into larger empires. As the Roman Empire expanded, the Dardanians found themselves facing a well-organized and technologically advanced adversary. Despite their formidable defenses, the fortresses eventually succumbed to the relentless Roman campaigns. The siege tactics employed by the Romans played a significant role in the downfall of Dardanian fortresses. Roman engineers were adept at constructing siege weapons and fortifications, enabling them to breach the walls of even the most secure strongholds. Prolonged sieges wore down the Dardanians, who struggled to sustain their resistance against the superior resources and manpower of the Roman legions. Once conquered, many Dardanian fortresses were repurposed by the Romans, who recognized their strategic importance. These sites were integrated into the Roman provincial system, serving as administrative centers or military outposts. While this transformation marked the end of Dardanian autonomy, it also ensured the preservation of their legacy, as many of these fortresses continued to play vital roles in the region. The decline of Dardanian fortresses was not just a military loss, but also a cultural and societal shift. The integration into the Roman Empire brought new opportunities and challenges, reshaping Dardanian identity over time. Yet, the memory of their strongholds and the resilience they symbolized persisted, leaving an enduring legacy in the history of the Balkans.